wasn't recording this, so oh well. I'm sorry, Pastor X. Can you ask your question again about the imperatives you said?
Yeah, with the in every point in your body of sermon, there's this point, proof, pictures, plan, and problems.
Yes.
What are we gonna put in the plans? Is this the section where we tell the people what to do, or?
Yeah, the
Application.
application would be, yeah, where you would, I wouldn't say tell them what to do, but you would give them some ideas to apply the text, or even ask them. So I think I do that on the, well, here, for example, in what ways do you worship and exalt God on a daily basis? And I might even ask the question differently. Do you exalt and worship God on a daily basis? That's very directed towards the hearers. Yeah, in the second point, I ask, how are you pursuing holiness? Is anything hindering you from seeing his holiness? I even make the statement, follow the example of Isaiah and Peter, who, when they saw God's moral holiness, they recognized their own sinfulness. So the application is where you might, give more specific direction to your hearers. Okay. And then also in the sermon points, notice I made them very directive. Esteem God for his merciful holiness. The second point was exalt God for his moral holiness. These are all imperatives. Extol God.
Yeah.
Because that's, in this psalm, that's the nature of the psalm. It's very imperative oriented. All right.
And my follow-up question, Pastor Ben, is about the problem. There's this section there, problem. What this problem should be? Is this the problem we will face when we apply the text or the plan that we are going to do, or the problem doctrinally with the scripture?
Yeah, it could be either. So for example, in the first point, I talk about the transcendence, the aboveness of God, and I also talk about his immanence, his nearness. And so one problem that people might have, or one question is, how can he be both? Right? We talk about revering the greatness of God, and at the same time, he's near us and we can approach him. Well, how does that work? How do we approach an unapproachable God? How are we near to a God who's far? Okay. Another problem that came up is, as I was thinking about this point, are believers to experience terror? Are we to be frightened of God? Is that the kind of fear? So that's, for some people, that's a real question. Now, for the second point, I came up with, if we are saved by grace, why should we be concerned about pursuing holiness? This is a question that some might have. If they believe that when God saves me, he makes me holy, why do I have to worry about pursuing holiness? Okay. So that's a possible question that some people might ask or think about that are listening to this message. Did I do what was the third point? Oh, so the third one was just a question, a confusing point about the passage. Remember in this passage, it talked about Moses, Aaron, and Samuel. And there's a question like, how are those guys connected? What's the common link? Because Moses and Aaron were from the tribe of Levi, but Samuel wasn't. So how did they all intercede for the people? And when did Samuel encounter this pillar of cloud? I'm sure there are people reading the passage wondering these things. So it could be a question that someone might have from the passage. It could be a doctrinal concern or issue that this passage brings up. It could be like you said, maybe an application that is particularly difficult or challenging. So it's really sort of open to, and this is where you as a pastor need to know your people and know what are some of the struggles or questions or concerns they're going to have from listening to this sermon, or what might be some of their disagreements.
Or misunderstanding.
Yeah.
Pastor Tim.
Yes.
Or Pastor Tim.
Yes.
I think one of the ways to think
to think of this section, the problem is when Paul said in Romans 6, shall we sin then so that grace may abound all the more? It's, yeah, basically he's doing there some, he's stating something that could possibly be disagreed by the hearers or the receiver of his letter.
Yeah.
A rhetorical question.
Yes. Yeah, Paul does that very, very skillfully in Romans. He sort of guides and directs his argument with these rhetorical questions that would be on the minds of the, even back in Romans 3, right? When he's talking about, directing his attention to the Jew and saying, you're going to think this, but you shouldn't, and so he surfaces the problem or the issues that he knows his readers would have. And so that's what we need to, this is the shepherding part of our preaching is, okay, I know a lot of people in my congregation really struggle with understanding how God could be near to them. They understand he's like great and majestic and awesome, but this idea that he's actually near and approachable is difficult for some people in my congregation to understand. So I need to spend a little bit of time on that here to address that particular issue. Or you might, like I said, in this stanza, there was a very confusing section in it that wasn't clear. Like when I studied it, I was confused. So I know some people are going to read this wondering, how are these guys connected to each other? So I chose actually to talk about it a little bit in my message, because it wasn't a doctrinal concern, it wasn't an applicational concern, but I thought this is something that might be confusing for people as they're reading the passage. It's not really clear. So I thought, I should explain that. Does that help, Pastor Rex?
Yeah. Because I was focusing on the problem in the application more than how to understand it. Because in the sections of proof and pictures, I could explain that whatever doctrinal issues they will be asking.
Yeah.
So by that section in proof, I could explain why is it that way. How could we approach God? Like, for example, how could we approach God when He is far because of His mercy?
Yeah.
That's why. So I could actually prove that in this section proof. But so my section in problems more focus on their problems in the application. Like what hinders them? What obstacles are they facing as they apply it in their life? What I'm talking about. So that's more on it.
Yeah, and you bring up a good point here, because the way I've written it, it looks like this is the order that I preach it in, but actually I don't. All of these are mixed together. So I'll have a proof, and then I might put a problem in right after that, and then a picture.
Correct.
And then another.
That's what I'm. Yeah. That's what I'm so confused here, because you put it like there's this section and this section, and you have to tackle this section and this one, and the problem would be last. I could actually put this in the proof section. The problems are there and all. So like in the proof and the picture, I could make a proof by making a picture of the text.
Yeah, you're explaining.
I can prove my point by doing the picture thing in the text, like in my verse, in my text, cleave in the dust. So that's really a proof to what I'm saying here. Yeah.
Well, so your proof will be explaining that. What does it mean to cleave to the dust? And then your picture will be, let me help you understand by illustrating it. Right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, correct. Yeah, correct.
So what it'll look like is this. Yeah, go ahead.
So I could actually fuse those points together, like what we did in gaining the attention and stating the need. we fuse them together, and the same is true with this. So I have not done yet my draft, but I'm planning to do this, like what I'm saying here right now.
Yeah, and this is what actually you could have in a given point. So notice you can have them mixed together. So say you offer two
Correct.
proof statements, and then you want to illustrate that, and then to give an application, and then you explain the next thing within your point, and then you'll maybe talk about another application, and then maybe that's when you'll bring up the problem. So these all can be mixed around. All right, and I talk about that in the workshop on sessions 17, I think. So this doesn't mean, okay, you do all your proof, and then you do all your illustrations, and then you do all your applications.
Yeah.
This does not mean that. This is a brainstorm document. So it's just throwing down all the ideas in a category. But when you actually put your sermon together, you're going to mix these up so that you know this picture of ancient Near East of bowing before a king, that would go to you know, maybe under like footstool, after I talk about footstool. So yeah, all of these will be mixed around in a particular order. Okay. So this sermon document, this draft is just like a brainstorm of ideas for each category, for picture, plan, and problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And you'll see that in my sermon. You'll see it mixed around.
Yeah.
Any other questions on that? Does that make sense, guys? For your sermon, you don't have to do it like all of my proof statements are going to be at the beginning, and then all of my illustrations, and then all of my plan. Yeah, don't do that, because that won't flow well. Okay?
Pastor Tim,
Yes.
I have a question for my argumentation. But it's easy to tell argumentation for plan, so that can transition in application.
You cut out a little bit on me there. Can you ask that one more time? I'm sorry.
The argumentation, so I will put in the plan so that I can transition on to my application. It's the ideal, or
yeah, you can put
explanation and
yeah, it's good to put the application or the plan right after you state make the argumentation. So let's say let's see, contrast the emphasis of the stanza on God in the first. Let's see that. Trying to see. So I might here actually, yeah. So remember I told you on this one I had there was a question about how do these three guys connect together, and so what I did was I included that in my explanation. I knew that would be a problem, so I just, when I explained that part of the stanza, I just answered that problem. So my answer was actually in the explanation. I didn't preach the whole stanza and then come at the end and say, now some of you may have a question. What are Moses, Aaron, and what I did was just, as I was explaining the point, I brought that issue into the explanation as I was giving the argument. That makes sense? I don't know. Did that address your question, or? Did that answer it, Kent, or is there any? Do you have another question?
My point is, for me, it's okay if I make an argument to transition to my application.
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you,
yes,
Pastor.
it is. Thank you. Okay. And then the conclusion And just like the introduction, I've got these three key elements of the conclusion is to help your hearers remember the main point or focus on that, direct them to action, and then land the plane. You know, don't just end the sermon, but give a time of silent prayer or sing or recite. So I think what I ended up doing was I prayed at the end, and then I had to sing this song, Holy, 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 together on this particular sermon. All right. Okay. And so this, again, is just a bullet point brainstorm ideas for your sermon. And in a structured way, you know, in order to help, so that then after this step, then you go to the actual sermon manuscript where you'll mix the things up. I may not include all of these applications. I may just include one of them on this point. And that's just as you prayerfully go through and start putting the details of your sermon together. This is an interim step from your sermon main point and outline to actually, you know, putting a manuscript together. Now, what you bring in the pulpit, that can be just your outline, that can be your full manuscript, that can be just key thoughts for each point. Again, that was discussed in session 18. We talked about the different options there for that, 18 and I think 19. Okay, any other questions generally or specific? And then, yeah, I included my sermon document just so you'd have that as well. But this is like fully written out manuscript form. All right. Any questions on this assignment or questions about your passage?
Question about the preaching lab, Pastor Tim.
Okay, we can transition to that. What's your question?
We can, after submitting all our assignments, we can choose the other option, right? Which is to record ourselves or preach it on a Sunday.
Yeah, record your sermon. Either just stand in a room and preach to the camera, or if you preach it on a Sunday and you have that recorded, that's fine too. Or the third option is the preaching lab with Pastor AJ, if you're able to go for that. So those are the three ways that you can do this. If you record it, just give me a way to access that. Pastor German actually put his on Facebook. Well, I guess your nephew did, right, Pastor German?
Okay.
But yeah, he recorded it, and then his nephew uploaded it onto Facebook. So that's an option. You can upload it onto YouTube. I put a place on the Canvas where you can just give me the link, or you can type in on Canvas where I can access it if it's on your Facebook page or something like that. Okay.
Pastor Tim,
Yeah.
just reminders for pastors. Avoid plagiarism, right?
Yeah. Only if they have your passage.
Yeah. However, okay, just for this month, if you send your tithes and offering to my church, no more plagiarism.
Wow.
Just kidding.
So, I guess he thinks his sermon is good enough to copy, guys.
Yes. Maldito nga pastor.
Good that you're done, Brother German.
Pastor Amy.
Brother Will, tuloy tayo dun sa likod.
Apit na.
Brother Will.
Our schedule is 24 and 28.
20.
Right?
Walang matapang na 21.
Nobody wanted to do that one.
Nobody wanted to schedule on the 21st.
Too early. Let me ask you guys a question. I have here on my on your screen, I've put the schedule, And notice I have highlighted the end of November. We need to get your sermon preached. So it looks like the preaching labs, those of you that have signed up, that's good. So the rest of you will need to have your sermon recorded before November 30th. I was planning on next week, I can make myself available and have a Zoom meeting if anybody has any specific questions about their sermon. So it'll just be sort of an office hours kind of thing back at 10 a.m. But we won't be covering any specific assignment next week. That'll just be for anyone that has any questions. So if you don't have any questions, you don't need to worry about signing in. Just work on getting your sermon done.
Pastor Tim, I have a question for the next passage actually.
Okay.
Are we flexible with the schedules that you've placed here? Because this is based on this schedule, it's just the start of the Christmas holidays or going into the Christmas holidays.
Okay.
So that's my question, if we're flexible on that.
Yeah,
maybe like
well, wait a minute. Did Pastor Rex tell you to ask me this?
No.
Okay. He's a sneaky guy.
No. Honestly, no. I've been mulling over it way before, but
okay.
I just thought of asking it closer to to the time.
Go, Will.
Basically,
go,
basically the reason, Pastor Tim, is just well, given my particular situation, I time my breaks with the breaks of my children, since I work in a school where they study at.
Oh, now he's bringing the kids in. Oh man.
Now you have to grant him, Pastor Tim. You have to grant him.
No, this is not an Aristotelian type.
I never see my children. This is the only time I'll see them.
That's why I'm asking if we're flexible with regard to that.
Yeah, so what would be your request or suggestion?
Well,
can we do it next year?
No, it's just the start. Let's say, for example, would it be possible to, instead of starting in December, to start in January? Is it possible?
Go, Brother Will.
Well,
no,
let's see.
I'm just asking, but I'm very much open and willing to do it with respect also to the others.
We support you.
Yeah, I knew you guys.
You
probably
Go.
However, I understand that we're already about more or less a year late in this.
Yeah.
Which is why I would just like it. This is not a plea, but rather a question of flexibility.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think, given the current situation, my original hope was that by February
you'd be able to come.
Perhaps, things would be open. It's not looking like that might happen.
Yes.
So I think us delaying a few more weeks, would not be a big deal, because I don't think I'm going to be out there in February. But let me think and pray about it, because it does affect
the other
skill guys.
I agree.
So my initial reaction is I think we can do something, make it work, but let me look at a few other considerations to do that. But I think we could do something like that. I could put it this way, though. What I don't want to happen is, if we did move that then guys think, oh, well, now I have more time to preach my sermon. If we make
no extension with the
we can make
with the preaching lab.
We can make a commitment, because we're trying to hit November 30 before the end of this month, because that's what we planned on already, and I think most, if not all, already signed on or committed to a schedule.
Yeah, if you guys can do that, I think I feel a lot better about you know,
Oh, you're a
relaxing the
good man,
schedule.
Pastor Tim.
So,
You're a good man, Pastor
so this
Tim.
is a what do you call that? A bilateral covenant. It's not unilateral.
Yeah.
So you have to do something too. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
everybody should commit to a schedule either on the 28th or on the 24th, so that it will be the proof or the documentation of the bilateral commitment.
Or or if many guys will be recording their own sermons, so they'll. I think you know, about half the guys are actually going to be doing it on their own. So as long as, you know, guys
They
like
submit it
like
before,
Jason,
yeah.
he's not going to come down for the preaching lab.
Yes.
So you and Kenneth, I think too, right? You're at a more remote area.
Yeah.
So
we're in the mountains.
yeah.
Pastor Kenneth was trying to request if he can fit into the 24th schedule. You're planning to come over, Pastor Kenneth?
No, I was thinking actually that you are gonna do it via Zoom. I realized that it's physical.
No, it's in person.
Brother Will.
Yes, Pastor Rex.
In our place, that's gonna be in our place.
Yes.
Was that the schedule? Okay. So
On
the 24th and the 28th.
Yes.
Adto sa inyo, Brother Rex.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, no problem.
Litson,
No
Brad.
problem.
Okay. Yeah, let me
Pastor Tim.
Yeah.
Pastor Tim, when will be the deadline for this sermon draft or docu?
On Monday.
That would be on Monday?
Yeah, that's get your sermon
Pinasyak pa, Monday?
My
Basing may
assignment
extend.
the 16th.
in primary matters, Pastor Tim has not been checked yet.
Yeah.
And I need to,
Yeah, I'm going to be grading
that would be
tomorrow.
your fault.
It's Pastor Tim's
If I will be
birthday.
late, that's your fault. No. I'm so flexible, Pastor Tim.
Yeah.
When I will be late with this sermon draft, that would be your fault.
Well, actually, if I go to the Canvas schedule, I think this was due November last year. So
Rex,
I'm not
minus
the late
10 na
one.
kadaan, Pastor Rex.
We're already late.
Minus 10 na tadaan.
Yeah, I'm planning tomorrow
Yeah.
I have some time to do grading. So I should be able to catch up with you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, okay.
So I apologize for that. But
Thank you, Pastor Tim.
do your best. Yeah, if
We'll
you need,
I'm sorry.
that's okay. Just, yeah, as long as you get your sermons done by the end of the month, you know, that will be helpful. And then we can consider some other options for the next sermon. So I'll let you know in the next few days about that. But thank you for
Thank
bringing
you,
that up.
Pastor Tim, for considering, for
Sure.
your consideration.
No, I understand. I know December is a challenging month. We're scheduling a lot of things because of the holidays and things like that. So I understand. Any other questions, or you guys voted on a good representative to bring that up, so I commend you guys for selecting Will. He was an expert.
I was
So,
I
so
wasn't
what's the final
voted
plan
in.
again?
I wasn't voted in. It's
He's our
actually
hero,
it's actually an idea that I was thinking about, concern that I was thinking about earlier on.
Yeah.
Ikaw
No
na
problem.
talaga, Padre Will. Ikaw na talaga.
So what's the final plan again, Pastor Tim?
Well,
We'll know in a few days.
Yeah,
Don't push it.
for now, the
We will
plan is
know in a few days. That's gonna be January.
get
Don't
your
push it.
sermon.
No,
Just-
in a few days.
Wait
Yeah,
upon the
It's gonna
Lord.
be January.
Brother William, clarification lang bro. Asa tong venue sa preaching lab?
Chapel behind Rex Candingan,
All right. Thank you.
SRP.
Okay.
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Yeah,
It's
Kenneth,
a favor extended by Pastor Rex. So thank you very
Kailan ba
much.
time?
Glory to
Pastor
God.
Rex.
Glory to God.
Yeah, the
What
time
time?
is 11 a.m. And then I guess we should just be there on our schedule so that we won't keep Pastor AJ waiting also, because he's giving us a favor already.
Brother Will.
Also on the thing.
Pastor AJ is giving us 1 hour per preacher. And if we are 8 preachers in a day, so it's gonna be 8 hours. We're gonna have to start early than 11.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
What's
The
your
place is
advice?
available.
What time?
9 a.m.
Maybe 9. So we
Okay,
could finish
I can
like
just relay that.
5 o'clock.
Anyway, he said that he already committed to block his schedule for those 2 days.
The whole day.
Yes,
the
whole day.
Okay. So we'll start early.
Okay, I can just advise him and then post it on our chat group. Okay.
Yeah, that'd be good.
But everybody should be present so that we will have an audience.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah. Anyway, there's
because
because
are scheduled 24.
Yeah, because there is an ample space for social distancing anyway. It's quite a big place. So thank you again, Pastor Rex.
So Pastor Rex, those who will preach November 28 would also come on November 24. That's what you're requesting.
Hopefully, so that we will have an audience. It's good to preach with an audience.
Dagat dito ay mo nang wali, ligo tag dagat.
Yeah, pagkauman ba?
Pastor Ramil suggested that after preaching, we'll go to the beach and swim.
Baptize.
And we will also
like Pastor Tim.
Let me
Basig ECQ na anang panahon na.
Wala pa eh. Wala na di na. Paghadlok ra ng isip. So Pastor Tim, happy birthday again.
Pastor Tim.
Thank you. Let me answer Kenneth's question. All right. As far as the plan here, the focus right now, Kenneth, just get your sermon preached by the end of November, and then I'll let you guys know about the next passage, the Proverbs passage, and if we adjust the schedule for that or not. But for now, just focus on getting the sermon document done, and then getting your sermon preached before the end of November. So that's, what is this? The 13th, 17th, so a little over 2 weeks to get both of those completed, okay? As well as
Pastor Tim.
all your 6 assignments. Yeah.
Yeah, Pastor Tim. We're planning to put it in Zoom, our preaching lab. So
okay.
you could also watch it.
Yeah, let me
that would be in 24 and 28.
Comment, Pastor Tim.
Yeah,
Comment.
I think that's good.
If I can.
That's good.
28 won't.
That'll be a Thursday, I think.
Yeah, that's Thanksgiving here, so that's a holiday. So I love you guys, but I love my family more, so I'm not going to see you then. But
on the 28th then, perhaps on the 28th.
No, in the 24.
24 I might be able to. But give me a link for both of them, and I'll see what I can do.
Okay. And if not, we will record it for you.
Okay, yeah. Yes, please do that.
Okay.
Sir Kim.
Yes.
I have sent my sermon already sa Canvas. I don't know if it's received or not. The link.
I will look tonight and see. Okay, thank you. Kenneth, did that answer your question or?
Yes, Pastor Tim, thank you.
Okay. All right, guys.
Tim, I submitted already my documents.
Wow. Okay. So I'm going to be busy tomorrow.
I'll give you a break, Pastor Tim. I'll submit mine on Monday.
So with me.
Monday, your time.
Yeah, all right.
No. Tuesday.